Hello everyone and welcome back to another review presented by TBR Media. Today we are going to be discussing The Boys Season 4. This is going to act as kind of like a mid-season review of the show so far. What are my thoughts on it? What's working? What's not working? Make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. We've got more reviews, video essays, and industry news planned for the future, so we'd love to have you in our community. Stick around for more of the crazy projects coming in the future. Now, I'm not going to spoil The Boys Season 4 so far to a major extent, but there are some plot points that we need to talk about from previous seasons that really shed light on what this season is going for and kind of the overall purpose. So at this point in the show, Butcher missed his opportunity to kill Homelander, and really the rehabilitation of Butcher is in full swing in terms of trying to get Ryan back on his side. Obviously, Ryan's with Homelander now, and what kind of implication does that have on Butcher's character and his outlook on life, especially knowing what we know from the end of last season and then also from Gen V. Now, before I start, I just want to say, yes, it wasn't that long ago that they just announced that The Boys would end with Season 5, so we've got, the rest of this season to look forward to, and then one more after that, and that'll be a wrap. And I think there was a lot of controversy when they announced that Season 5 was the end point, because people, and even myself included, kind of felt like there was a little bit more story to tell. However, I'm very comfortable in the fact that if the showrunners think, Eric Kripke thinks, that this is the best way to kind of give a adequate resolution to this journey that we've been on with The Boys on Amazon Prime, then I trust them, because up to this point they haven't let us down. I think Season 4 is no different. I kept waiting for kind of like an X factor in Season 4. It hasn't quite happened yet, but we're getting bits and pieces of Homelander's story, his origin, and kind of how that shaped him to be the person he is, and he seems even more tormented in Season 4, at least the first half, than we've seen him before. And at the same time that you're getting all of these insane, crazy moments from The Boys Season 4, they're also trying to round out their supporting cast, and that's really been what this season's about, right? I mean, we've gotten more material regarding Frenchie and Kimiko, and Starlight's kind of taken a back seat a little bit in the story, which I know is kind of frustrating a lot of people. We have things that are happening in Huey's life, and ultimately it really has come down to just being a ensemble piece. The Boys Season 4 is less about those kind of head-scratching, shocking moments that we get, and more about rounding out these characters so that we can have a strong end to their story. And I think that's really important to denote here, because if you're going into this thinking that, there's an endless amount of story, an endless amount of opportunity, you would be kind of remiss not to think about the way that this show's trajectory has ultimately laid the path for what could have been disappointment. Now, I think that we are straying away from that disappointment with Season 4, with them fleshing out all of these supporting characters, because at the end of the day, in order to like a show, I have to like the characters. And with 3 great seasons, I have no doubt that Season 4 is going to end very, very strongly just based off these first 4 episodes. Now, the one pitfall that I've seen a lot of people talk about is how they are leading into more of the parody and satirical elements to the actual script and the material laid before. It's been very evident beforehand, kind of, this is showing a political fracture, a political divide in the country right now. We knew it from the very first teaser that this season released, that they would be going to that level. And so it's no surprise to me anyway, that when we actually sit down and watch the 4 episodes, it does seem like it's poking even more fun at the current state of politics. Now, for some, that's going to be a little bit too overbearing, and they're not going to feel like they have much resonance with the actual story that's being told, but I think they're still finding a way to thread the needle perfectly. Victoria Newman has become kind of a staple character in this season as well, kind of in tandem with her performance and her story on Gen V. So we're getting a little bit more in terms of how her vice presidential campaign is really influencing the world of this coexisting between humans and supes. And yeah, I do feel like some of the parody, some of the satire that's kind of laced through the script is a little bit overbearing, and it kind of weighs the rest of the story down just a tad bit. This is a season that feels like it hasn't lost a step, but at the same time maybe kind of did this lateral step into new territory with just being a full parody. So it kind of loses some traction there for me anyway. But it still has weight, it still has great characters, and it still has fantastic shock value. So I'm excited for the rest of the season. We're going to do a full season review at the end of the show, and I just ultimately want to hear your guys' opinions on this. Do you think that they lean too far into the satire? Are the characters' stories that they're now starting to flesh out worthy to you? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm really curious. There's been a lot of dialogue on social media. A lot of it's toxic. None of that toxic shit in my comments section, please. Keep it civil, keep it concise, and really, provide examples for your arguments. If you feel like, no, the parody is spot on, let me know why. If you feel like the parody is a little too much, as I do, let me know why. Is there a broader reason for it, or is it just that you don't like how it's making fun of our current political environment? Because yeah, I do think that there is, for me anyway, some clashing between, well, this show is really dark and really purposeful on a human level of what it's trying to say, and it's trying to balance that with the more bombastic, satire that's kind of at large. And so those two things kind of do clash for me a little bit, especially when they lean more into the parody. But maybe you have a different opinion on it. Let me know down in the comments below, and we will see you for The Boys Season 4 finale.